Sure, we are recording. All right, excellent. So welcome to week number 2, the Life IQ Living Series. So I'm Michael Fowl. Great to have you with us. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going back over the information we shared last week briefly, just a quick flyover, but really diving in and looking at that Life IQ template, getting some feedback, finding out how you're all doing. So this is going to be very interactive. This won't just be me talking, which is great because I don't like to just talk and I'd rather hear from you all. So thanks for those who've joined. Again, please share whatever I was asking in the chat window if you could share it's one thing that you're grateful for that's happened over this past week. As we get started there, I'd love to be able to get something from everyone, and then we'll read what those are. So Crystal has time to rest. Beverly Lucas, a 96-point drop in her sugar. Woohoo, that's great. So get off some diabetes, right? So, and then we also have time with family. So let's see. And welcome, welcome. Welcome, Wendy. Wendy, what's your last name? Remind us. Let's see what we get Wendy to respond.
Yeah, I'm just unmuting.
Your last name, I'm sorry, Wendy.
Sorry, Michael, it's Cooper. C-O-O-P-E-R.
Yep, got it. So Stephen's back. All right. So with that, we're going to jump in. Got a couple minutes past, and looks like we got 11 folks who are here. I don't see anybody waiting. So those who are joining, again, if you could just put something in the chat window, what you're thankful for. So as we get started, one of the things I want to talk about is the healthy mind. So we talk about the Life IQ template, so focusing on 3 areas: healthy body, healthy mind, healthy spirit. So thinking about healthy mind, a definition here, and this isn't taken from any particular dictionary or anything, but it's really just the summary. It has to do with your emotional health, what we put into our mind, what we allow to occupy our thoughts, the self-talk that goes on that we all deal with, right? And so as we think about every day and living each day, our thoughts are crucial to how we navigate life. And something that I've seen over the years, for all the years I've been doing the coaching work and working with people, is I'd venture to say 90% of our success is often related to how we think. And I know there's statistics on this, but 10% is perspiration, 90% is inspiration, all those kind of things. So it's really crucial as you focus on your thinking and your thoughts, how you want to show up and how you're going to approach each day. Scripture verse that talks about this, as a man or a woman thinks in his or her heart, so is he. So this, there's a lot actually in Scripture that talks about our thinking and our self-talk and our mindset. This is a really great one. As a person, as a man or woman thinks in their heart, so is he, so is she. And it's important that we're thinking good ways, that we're thinking in ways that are going to be healthy, that are going to lead us towards the life we really want. So often what happens is we're just going through particular ways of being and noticing that these things may or may not be helping us. And often we don't stop, we don't take the time, we don't really examine, is my self-talk really leading me towards what I want, or is it actually undermining what I say I want? There's a great quote here by Einstein, and it says, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So a great way of perspective, right? So you can't solve the problems you have using the same thinking that was used to create them. For example, How do we get to water? It was a question, and it may still be in some places of the world. Versus how do we get water to come to us? And the totally revolutionary way that changed civilization. So instead of how we get to this resource, how do we get it to come to us? So as you sit back and you think right now, and I'd invite to get some thinking around this or some thoughts as you think about it, what's a situation or problem in your life? So it doesn't always have to be a problem, it could be just a situation that could use a new question to unlock a breakthrough. Who would like to share? What's a situation or something going on in your life that you could use a new question to unlock a breakthrough? Anybody? Anything come to mind for you?
This is Beverly. I used to ask the question, how can I avoid becoming on medication, going on medication to manage my diabetes? So far, I've been doing it with diet and exercise. The now question is, what do I need to do to reverse it?
Wow, yeah, it's a bigger question, isn't it? How to manage it without medication versus now what can I do to reverse it? Nice. Great question, Beryl. Anybody else? We're going to circle back around here, but I wanted to throw this out. So I'll ask a little bit later, is there something that comes to mind? So let's go on. We'll move on to our check-in. So, and I'd like to get everybody who's here, and you don't have to obviously feel forced to do it, but one of the purposes of this time was to get input and help build out accountability. So I'll just go down and ask, where are you on the river of life? So last week we talked about this river. It can be rapids, a waterfall, tranquil, it can be eddies, a swamp, etc. And how did things go for you this past week practicing your intentional habits? So I'll whip out my form, and I have all my notes on my form and what I've been doing. So does anybody want to volunteer and go first? Where are you on the river, and how did things go for you this week in practicing the intentional habits? And feel free to share a win. What was really good for you? So who'd like to go first?
I'll go. This is Crystal.
Thanks, Crystal.
I'm in the tranquil place right now.
Okay.
I just came out of the rapids and finished a major life accomplishment, and I am just in the tranquil place of just resting and recovering all of my energy.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting how the river goes, isn't it? So you were in the rapids, and now you're in a tranquil place.
Yes.
And as far as practicing some of the these healthy habits of mindset, physical self-care, spiritual self-care, how did that go for you?
Really well. I've been spending a lot of time just resting, being unplugged from the news media or whatever else, and plugging into the Pause, I think it's called Pause app that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And spending time in the Word and just listening to worship music and just letting my brain relax and not be stressed. Doesn't matter what's next, it's not now.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Crystal, and thanks for going first. Excellent. Who else would like to go next?
I will, Michael.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely in the rapids, but these categories, the spiritual, the mindset, and the physical, are all crucial right now for me to be very intentional in practicing each one to the best of my ability each day. So those are my priorities really for each day.
Yeah.
And I begin the day in the Word and in prayer. And then I find that my mindset, focusing on the Word, focusing on the presence of the Lord, and also being with His people, talking to my friends, and staying connected to people is important to keep me in a healthy mindset and keep me from becoming too anxious or depressed. And then the physical is so critical as well, that almost every day I exercise, and the day I don't is a rest day. I do yoga or I walk, and I walk with friends frequently, spend time walking with friends. And that has been just life-saving for me.
Mm. Wow, that's pretty strong testimonial, life-saving. Yeah, that's great. And one of the things I was sharing last week was this idea that we don't get to pick where we are on the river, right? It's where we are. But by attending to those three things, it helps us to show up wherever we find ourselves on the river in a much greater, more powerful place. To be able to respond and be in a healthier place. Yeah, good. So thank you, Donna. So who wants to go next?
I will, Michael, and
Thank you, Deb.
everyone. I'm Deb. This has been so helpful for me. I feel like I'm also in the rapids, maybe coming out of them a little bit, but just this idea of being intentional has helped me so much to just, okay, I'm going to be intentional about having that time, for spirituality and quiet time with the Lord. That is just so important. And then just looking at my mindset, and this week, and I've been aware of this before, but I know that I feed my fear more than I feed my faith. And that's been a hindrance. And so just, I think, as Crystal was saying, being able to unplug from all of the noisy voices that are out there, with a lot of good information. But, if I just take that in all day long, it's very troubling and difficult. But if I can focus on the Lord, focus on where my thoughts go, it's much more helpful. And then, of course, the physical part as well. I try to get out every day and walk for 30 minutes at least. And that's just been very helpful as well. And I've even taken some time to just stretch, just do some stretches, because I think that my body just feels the tension of all that's been going on. So just having this whole process of, okay, how am I going to show up today? And then having that plan, it's been really helpful. So yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's good. And thank you for sharing that, Deb. I think as we think about that, one of the things that we can often ask is, what's my body saying I need right now? I know we all know, breathe in slowly, breathe out. There's times of the day you just need to do that. That's what the stretching and other things do for us. So very good. Who would like to go next? So thank you, Deb.
I'm happy to go next.
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay, so I've been in a fairly tranquil place. I have a hunch it might be heading into the waterfall for needs that will be coming in from many areas. But at the moment, enjoying the tranquility. I've been clearing through a backlog of old boxes that have been stressing me for some while, knowing that they needed, I wanted them done, I wanted them sorted, and lots of recycling, but didn't have the time and space and mental energy to do it. So I've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very therapeutic. Enjoying the bird song, which is just so loud without the sounds of traffic. I'm in the UK.
Yes, we would have never guessed.
I know I'm the only one without an accent.
Right.
And just generally, and going out for walks, and just really trying to take as much nourishment for this space, from this space and time as I can. So being quite intentional and eating lots of fruit and salad, and
That's great.
instead of just rushing a meal.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's a helpful, yeah, for many of us, hopefully, especially working from home or whatever now, you're not quite as rushed and you have a little bit more time because there's not the commutes and the other things that might have gone into your world. So hopefully you're using that time to go at a little slower pace. And as you said, to prepare perhaps healthier meals, sit and actually be present as you're eating, not just rushing, that kind of thing. All right, good. So thank you, Wendy. So who else would like to jump in? Yeah, Beverly, Carol, Ed, Emily, Meg.
I will. This is Carol.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm still in the rapids. I feel like I'm moving very fast through many things. I have lots of classes. I've been organizing a group and looking at how I can build off of that group. So there's just so many moving parts. I don't feel overwhelmed with any of it. So that's a blessing. It's just a lot. And I'm finding, I think one of the things I've learned most this week is it kind of deals with mindset. I really have to be on top of managing what I do. I tend to be a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person. So I can't do that anymore. I need to sit down at the beginning of the week and plan and organize, and that is self-care for me, because if I don't do it, then things just kind of go wacky. I didn't do much with the tracker this past week. I was not feeling well most of the week. So that's why I put in the chat. It's good to feel better.
Yeah.
And, just really understanding that how much that in and of itself affects self-talk, good management and everything like that. But it's been good to have this in front of me. Even though I haven't written in it, I've been aware and trying to keep aware of, what I'm practicing and what I'm lacking. And I really, really need to work on the physical. I have some issues with chronic pain, so it's a little bit hard to know how to change what I do for physical exercise. So I'm kind of waiting for the fitness centers and the pools to open back up so I can get in the pool a little bit. But so yeah, that kind of just throws everything else off. If I'm not getting physical exercise that I need, then it just frustrates every other area of trying to maintain physically. And so I've really been fighting to stay away from things like the sugar and the self-comfort things. So but I've done well. I've stayed pretty much away from the sugar, so it's been
good.
So,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. All right, good. Thank you to Carol. So I was going to read Stephen. He's actually with us from northern Nigeria, and he's had a few issues with his internet going up and down. So Stephen, thank you for being persistent and hanging in there. So he's sharing that he thinks he's in a tranquil state. So I want to I'm sharing for Stephen. He's practicing intentional Bible reading, prayer, exercise, and he just needs to be more intentional with his time management. So thank you, Stephen. And looks like we got Tom Warwick joining. Hey, Tom. So who else would like to share? So we got a couple more minutes, and then we're going to move towards some closing thoughts.
This is Meg. Hi. This has just made more intentional what a friend had prayed for me for months from Matthew 11, 28 to 30, that I would learn to from the message. They, I don't know whether you know that version, but it's about the unforced rhythms of grace. So as I've been, it's kind of hard to learn those when you're going through the rapids, but somehow with all the tasks I've had after our move and settling in and getting my business set up again and endless things coming up with family. So it's just helped me to do that more consciously and intentionally. And I think doing it in a group helps me to have permission to remember that self-care is so important in the middle of everything. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that continuing to pay attention to that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Oop. I think you know, doing that in a group, and that's one reason why I thought this would be so great, is to give people an opportunity to do a check-in, hold that accountability, and just practice these healthy habits. So jump on to the next slide. So as far as commitments go, and one thing I should probably add up here, I'm going to be posting the recording is going to be on my website. There's going to be a coaching.com/life IQ living / so that'll end up being where they're going to be. Of course, I'll send out the link. I'll send out an email saying, hey, thanks for being here. Here's the stuff. But if you want to go back and listen to any of the weeks, so the week 1's there, week 2 will be posted there as well as some of the other resources that we're doing. So that's the link that you want to use. And I can actually, I'll post it real quick into the chat window as well. So that everybody has it. All right. So who would like to share, and this can be for folks who perhaps haven't shared yet. You know, I asked that what situation or problem in your life could use a new question. Has anything come up for anyone as you pondered that?
This is Beverly. I didn't share on the last one, but the question that I posed is the primary question that I'm dealing with the decision to reverse diabetes rather than manage it.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Thank you, Beverly. Who else? Anybody else have a question that, or a problem or situation that a new question could unlock a breakthrough?
I do, Michael. I'm thinking, how do I continue to move forward without knowing my exact direction?
Okay, yeah, how to continue to move forward without having the exact direction. So that is sometimes one of those things where you're trying to think, okay, what's the next best step I can take? You know, what's just the next thing? Because you can't see the whole road clearly. Yeah, yeah. Anybody else, situation or problem that you could use a new question? All right, how about takeaways? So what are you taking away from our time today? Anybody feel free to jump in?
Could I just say that I think that's such a great question that I'd like to have in the back of my mind. That would be on my takeaway, is that every problem, everything I'm dealing with, that I try to think of it out of the box, come at it from a different angle. And I can't think of anything at the moment, but I just think it's, of course, it's a typical coaching question, isn't it?
I was going to say that's a great coaching question, and certainly working with a coach and processing, you know, some of those things probably will help unlock that breakaway. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so I just like to keep that in mind with everything.
Yeah, it's good, Meg. Anybody else? What's your takeaway? Start calling on people.
Okay, I'll share.
Thank you, Crystal.
I am taking away the fact that I can go back and review because I didn't see the first one. So thank you for the link. But also, what's the next step for me, the next right step? So I've finished this huge project, as you know, but there's a gap in between here and there because I won't be using it until October. And so, yes, I know I need to be preparing for October, but what do I do in the meantime? So do I go about building my email list, or do I go back and work on websites? So I'm going to make a list of things, and I'm just going to ask God to show me what's the next right step.
Okay. Yeah, next right step. And I think a lot of us may be in a somewhat of a waiting state in one way or another. Doesn't mean everything in your life's at a hold. Some places you could be on the rapids, and other places you're in the tranquil or in the eddy or whatever.
Yeah.
Who else? So what's your takeaway? Maybe somebody we haven't heard from. So
I was going to say, this is Eddie here. I was interrupted twice by phone calls here at the office. And I guess a takeaway is, you know, like I set aside the time to do this, like to check in this week and to, I guess, prepare further for a time that you have set aside to do something else, because I missed key information because of those phone calls. So to, I guess, try and block out distractions
okay.
for the next time.
That's good. Yeah. Well, you're learning. So, you know, one of the things we talk about is a learner's mindset, not, you know, what went wrong, but what can I learn from that? So block the time. Yeah, set that aside. Unfortunately, anything you did miss will be recorded. So thanks for sharing it. And time for one more, and then we're going to wrap up.
Michael, this is Carol. I wrote down something I think maybe Meg said, and it's just a phrase: unforced rhythms of grace. And don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but it's something I really want to think about as a takeaway, and what, you know, maybe kind of work with that thought a little bit.
That's a part of the translation from the Message. And what was the passage again, Meg, for that?
Matthew 11:28-30. And if you Google the phrase, there's already books being written about it.
Really?
Of course.
Thank you. And you said that was the Message.
The Message, yeah.
Yeah, the Message passage on that.
Thank you.
All right, all. Well, it's been really, really great connecting. I've loved this time. Hopefully it's been helpful for all of you. And we will be right back here next week and same time. So block your time. Look forward to seeing you. Please, you know, put best use that tracker as I do. And hopefully you'll continue to live with more intention and get more joy, fulfillment, and really having a life that is the way God would intend for you. So take care, and we will see you all next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye, Michael.
Bye-bye.